Hello there, my name is Kuma, and sometimes Arknights gets quality of life updates, but we don't always get what we want. So I asked you, what quality of life update would you like to see in the game? Ed made the list for me, let's see what you said. Base out of beta. I need a lot more resources to accomplish a lot of my operator building goals. The changes in April are a good step forward, but I'd appreciate a base expansion for factories and trading posts sometime soon. So we are starting at the base, huh? Okay. Yeah, as you said, the base is already getting a quality of life update on CN, so we will be getting it in 6 months, if they don't bring it earlier for us. And in this update, we will be able to have a couple preset squads in the base, so that we can change everyone in the base in just a couple clicks. That's gonna be really cool, because swapping everyone around every day is honestly really boring. But what you really want is just more resources, right? I mean, I wouldn't mind having more resources. Not that I would need them, of course. I have a good amount of LMD and XP saved up. I have more operators raised who I don't play with than the operators who I do play with. But what I imagine is that it would be really helpful for newer players, right? Especially when you're at that point in the game where you don't even have a squad yet. You're just struggling to come about with a solution to every single stage that you play. I mean, and what harm would there be in just giving us one more floor at the base, right? Maybe I'm just missing something, but at a first glance at least, I can't even see a negative impact for their sales. Who knows? For now, the best choice is just fixing your base combos if you don't have them figured out yet, because if I see another friend of mine showing up and talking about how their 252 base is great, but they only produce 30k LMD and XP, I will go crazy. And yes, that happens often enough. Next one. I want to be able to choose support units based on archetype. As more and more archetypes are being announced, the pool of support units become more and more bloated. That's absolutely true. I myself have a more uncommon problem with the support system, but having a refined search would solve all of our problems, your and mine. I imagine that most veterans like me don't even use the support system anymore, but I use it to play with goofy operators who I don't like enough to raise myself. But this creates the problem where I'm searching for these operators who generally everyone loves to hate. So it's rare for someone to even have them as a support. And I'm searching for these operators among the randoms, because usually I don't want to bother my friends, because I will only have some fun playing a couple stages, and I will be done with the operator, I won't need it anymore. It doesn't help that everyone in my friend list has all the same 6 stars. Like, where are the fun operators? Where is Kirara? Where is Exector? Where is Spuria? Look, if you like leaving goofy operators up all the time, please add me, I need them. But yeah, it's not great. A lot of times I can't even find what I want, and I have to give up and be sad. For normal players, it's probably less of an issue, because you will be searching for the busted operators, and a lot of people will have them set on support. Since we don't have the limit on the number of refreshes that you can do on support each day, that we had a couple years ago, you will eventually, for sure, find what you want. As long as it is, as I said, a busted operator, because literally everyone has them set up. And that is even more true if you are in the middle of the special event season, where 80% to 100% of your max level friends will put up the operators that people are using on guides. But I will be real with you, I would love a search system on support, but I don't dare complain about it all the time, because the support system was literally the worst. I'm glad it is the way it is today. But that said, just give me a search system, please. It's still not good enough. Next message. I want a way to view enemy pathing before starting the stage. It would be nice to know when the boss is going to take the scenic route and when he's going to race your vanguards to the blue box. Transfer Navigator can have it, so why can't the rest? Yeah, this is a design choice that I really don't understand, because they are quite inconsistent with it. Sometimes they have shown the boss path in the map previews, but most times they haven't. But then in Trials for Navigator of all places, where you needed to repeat each map at least 3 times if you wanted to fully experience the event, then it's there. Who knows what their idea is? I will say though, sometimes staging Arknights really give the vibes that they wanted to pull a gotcha moment on you, because knowing one enemy path in your one single gimmick is all you needed to clear a stage. And the lack of that one information is what's gonna prevent you from first trying a stage. It's annoying. Of course we have outside resources to learn these things, but a lot of times it's more effort than it's worth. Just going into the stage, seeing what's going on and backing out tends to be the quicker option. I will never understand why Hypergriff chooses to design Arknights this way. It would be cool to have enemy pathing in game, for sure. Not only for the bosses, but in my opinion for all the other enemies as well. Just I'll wait for you to see where everything goes. I think it would be cool. Next one. I want a quick recruitment open option, so when all 4 are ready, I can click one button that opens them all at the same way a 10 bag opens, which makes it faster than doing each one at a time and having to sit through a lot of the introduction before moving on to the next bag. Well, here's where we can all get angry with Yostar, because I've been told at least that CN can skip the introduction dialogue scroll by just clicking on the screen. You know, the same way that you can make all the text appear at once when you are reading the story. If this is a lie, I've been pranked and I'm sorry. Someone can correct me in the comments. But man, just not having to listen to all the talk would be so nice. I already skip opening bags because I really don't care about all that gacha dopamine that apparently a lot of players have. It's just not my thing. I would really appreciate being able to skip as much as possible in the polls and recruitments. Having a collect all button be added to the recruitment would be really nice, I think. For sure. It would even get rid of the introduction text altogether, right? If you collect more than one at a time. That sounds like a great idea to me. Let's see if the next idea is as great as this one. I want a retry option on all stages with keeping the selected support unit, because it is really annoying to go through all the loading screens again, and after the 5th time forgetting that you wanted to use a support unit. The retry option. I only remember seeing it used in the new CC, which is not CC by the way, but that's not the topic today. It would be really nice to have it available everywhere. You don't lose the flow of the stage, especially if you're trying to do some challenge, something really hard, or if you're just doing something that is very micro-intensive, you know? But more than that, as you said, the loading screens, they are really annoying, especially if you have a bad connection for whatever reason. Maybe you're playing very far away from the servers, you could be literally on the other side of the world, or you just don't have a fast internet connection to begin with. In these cases, these loading screens love to linger for a long time, and it's far from a pleasant experience, it's quite the opposite. So having the retries, you could skip all of it and just win the game, have fun. Wouldn't that be amazing? We really needed this feature, like come on. It is already in the game, they just have to implement in these stages. Next message. Sanity overcap. It's not always, but some busy days I can't log in and spend all the sanity. This one, sanity overcap. I won't lie to you, I had absolutely no clue what in the world all of you meant with sanity overcap. My gacha knowledge is always terrible, so I already went and asked around to understand what this is. And I am a little bit concerned that this is what you want, but I am on your side, let me explain. So sanity overcap, in case you don't know, just like I didn't, is a sanity system where after you reach the cap, in Arknights' case after you reach the 135, you continue to get sanity, but you take a lot longer to get each point. It slows down after you reach the cap. But you don't lose all the sanity, you just lose a part of it. And the overcap also has a cap, even if it's a big one. It's quite funny actually. I agree that we need a higher cap on sanity, and Hypergriff seems to agree as well, because CN is getting a sanity cap increase to 180 sanity. Still not as much as I would ask for. I would want at least 240, because 24 hours, 240 sanity. but it is something at least. Here is why I think this is a good idea. Because people have more to do with their lives. There are busy people who love Arknights and can't log in twice a day to farm. I am lucky that most of the time I am working at home, and even when I need to go out and have a meeting with a customer, it doesn't take the whole day. But that's not a reality for everyone. So as my old grandma would say, more sanity, more gooder. But the problem here is that a lot of you guys are not just asking for a higher sanity cap, you're asking for the sanity overcap, a system that still eats away your sanity. Like, come on, we can dream bigger here. We don't need to be shackled by the standards you saw in other gacha games. We don't need a sanity overcap, we need a really big sanity cap. That's it. Next message. Show actual numbers for both enemy stats and for operator skills. We shouldn't need to wiki to know what pushes lightly and what an A+ defense means. I totally agree with you. Just like the pathing on the enemies that we talked about before, I have no idea why we can't have this information in game. After all this time, I got used to knowing how much defense or res the enemies have, how much they mean by A+, A or B, you know? But to this day, I haven't learned what the push force is on the words they have chosen. I don't know what is slightly, I don't know what is moderate, I have no idea. It's even weirder now that we can see the weight on the enemies, it's there, it's in numbers, but the words for the push force, they are not numbers for some reason. I don't know if they created this letter system just to look cool, but it does not look cool, it looks terrible. Just give me some numbers already. What makes me sad more than anything else in this topic is that we have a lot of misconceptions in the community when it comes to enemy stats, and a good chunk of it could be solved if we simply had the numbers in game. I like having a good discussion about changes the game had over the years, but it gets really tiring having to explain again and again that the enemy someone is pointing at actually has less defense than the older enemy, and what made this new enemy harder was something entirely disconnected from their stats. Honestly, I don't know if there is a change in Arknights that would make me happier than just seeing numbers. Maybe if the game stopped being a gacha, that would be a better one. But numbers? They are up there for me. I wish I could see pull history. I don't care too much about managing my 6-star pity because of how I interact with the gacha, but I'd probably pay more attention if I didn't have to manually keep track of it. Most other gachas have this to my knowledge. I've never really understood why we don't. Believe it or not, I am actually aware of what a pull history is. I'm not biased or against this one in any way. It's not a feature I would care about at all. So if you guys want something like this, all the power to you. I do like spreadsheets though, so maybe something cool would come out of being able to see everything you've pulled for, you know? Maybe we could have bigger statistics projects going on in the community. I don't know what you would do with the numbers, but something, you know? Something is cool. But more than that, I honestly don't see the point of having a pull history. So, as I said, I'm completely neutral towards this idea. If you guys like it, I'm cheering for you guys. What I want is a feature called Level Editor, where we can make a map and decide the enemy and their pathing, then share to another doctor to clear it. Heck yeah! Bring Mario Maker into Arknights! I'm aware Mario Maker didn't invent Level Editor, by the way. One of the coolest things you can see in a game after you finish the campaign and you see the credits rolling is a button for you to play community levels. My man, we had entire genres of games being born from level editors. We need more of that stuff, especially in a game like Arknights, a tower defense. We are losing to Bloons here. They got their level editor a long time ago. But I guess Hypergriff can't be as cool as Ninja Kiwi on this one. What can you do? If we had a level editor, we could see a more meaningful meta evolve. Because right now, the competitive scene on Yen is way too small, and the meta discussions we have, they are just pointless. Because there is nothing to beat with the meta operators. There are some specific cases to be made, but most of the time the discussions completely ignore the edge cases anyway. If we had a level editor and a good sharing system, we could see Arknights become an actually difficult game. A competitive community would form. And more than that, nobody would lose any rewards, because it would be user-generated content anyway. Even if they gave us an event asking to clear a bunch of community maps, you could just go out there and play a bunch of maps with a single dog, for example, that were created for the sole purpose of farming that event. And after that you can stop playing the game again, I guess. I do wish to see something like this. It sounds way too far-fetched considering the spaghetti code in the game and how Hyperglyph likes to steer away from problems, but man, it would be magical. I hope we get a level editor. Next message. Reverse 1999 sweep. Literally perfect for Arknights. Show the auto run once at 4x speed and you will get the rewards based on the number of autos you want. To make it different, since this is part of Arknights auto, keep the ability for the players to manually take over the run. It will cancel the sweep though. It's a win-win for those who wanted the sweep feature and those who wanted the auto to stay. Hey, we are seeing some middle ground here. I'm not familiar with Reverse 1999, but I learned what is sweeping in another video, and I wouldn't mind at all seeing auto-deploy skips become a thing in the normal stages in Arknights. The same way we have the auto-skips in Annihilations. Apparently, there's a lot of players who are concerned with the game being less addictive to others, which sounds weird to me, but I did hear a good argument against it. If everything has auto-skips, you're not trying to beat stages in a way to respect the enemies anymore. You're fumbling around all the way through and then you'll never look back again. That does sound a little bit sad to me. So this idea here of an auto-deploy skip that still makes your auto function at least, I like it a lot. I think it's functional, I think it gets rid of the weird shenanigans that some players have because of the RNG system that Arknights uses, and also, it lets us stop watching autos for the rest of our lives. Unless you want to, and then you can keep watching them. I love it, I love this idea. Next one. I want sorting options to the operator list in the same way the tagging options in the recruitment. Sorting on the operator list. My god, this is another feature that I would give so much to have. We have some sorting options in the game, we had them for a while. You can sort by class, by trust and whatnot. We have the favorite tab at least, where you can leave specific operators to appear first, but not all of it translates to the alternative game modes in Arknights. And I doubt you have the same problem as I do, but playing integrated strategies with 4 stars only is a little bit of a pain. Every time I get a voucher to recruit a new operator, I have to scroll all the way to the end to get my 4 stars. RA has a worse problem because at least it puts the operators you raised at the front, but I have absolutely no idea what is the sorting they do in that mode. It just doesn't make any sense. The operators are all over the place. All the time I have an operator I want in my face and I can't see it because they are in such a weird spot. I don't think this is something that affects normal players, because to struggle with this you gotta have a lot of operators raised, so it's only a problem for veterans, but man, it would be nice to have sorting. It would make my day just that tiny little bit more enjoyable. Next message. I want a setting to remove all one letter appearing at a time. It makes Arknights have the worst visual novel experience ever. I want to enjoy the story in this game. Not have to read it in some jank website elsewhere. Just make it a slideshow instead, please. Well, for sure. This is the single worst design choice in the Arknights novel, and this is the one I really agree with. I know the community wants a lot and really doesn't like reading the lore as it is in game today, but if there is a single feature that would fix more problems than all the other things you could think of, is getting rid of the text appearing one letter at a time. You can technically do this in Arknights right now, but if you want to do that, you have to double click the screen. And this is just that small little thing that always gets to you, because you have to intentionally do it every single time. And it's worse, because sometimes, it's uncommon, but this happens, sometimes you get some screens where the second click simply skips the whole text box. Actually, it might not be that uncommon, because now that I think about it, every single training stage works like this. You can't do the second click will just skip another box. But that is where it really gets to me, when it happens in the story. And that is if you are actively reading the story. Because if you just want to lay back and let the story play on auto, you're screwed, because you will be forced to watch the letters fade into existence one at a time. If Arknights just showed you the entire text box, it would be the same as most novels are. You don't need anything more fancy than that. As an example, look at the Super Robot Wars franchise. It's a massive franchise, but the whole story happens in visual novel style. You rarely get voices during the reading sessions, only super important scenes. You don't need to be fancy to get people to enjoy the reading. You just need to not be a nuisance. It's simple as that. Next message. I'd like to see upgrade requirements for future levels before you reach them. For example, the cost of M2 and M3 before training M1. There's some good resources and tools out there, but it would be nice to have them in game too. Completely true. Whenever I put an operator to start their masteries, I end up going through the mental gymnastics of, should I go look up what M2 will cost so that I can leave everything prepared? And I always end up being too lazy to actually do it. If I could see the requirements in game, I wouldn't need to spend brain power every time I start a mastery. I could just check it in game, look it, prepare it, and be happy. I think we can already see the requirement for modules, right? You can see how much it costs for level 2 and level 3. So this is yet another feature that already exists, but they just refuse to implement in other sections of the game for some reason. At the end of the day, this is not a feature that really matters, but it would feel so much better having access to information without outside resources. And with that said, like the video if you enjoyed our talk, and tell me in the comments what do you think about these quality of life changes we saw today. Do you like them? Do you think they wouldn't work? Do you have any ideas we didn't talk about today? I'd love to know. I hope everyone has a very nice day. Peace out.